when I was building Legal Shield, right? There were times where I was out of state. Like I was at a conference 3 nights, 4 days, whatever. And you were holding down the house.
Yeah.
Like baby, toddler, like all of it. And you know what I remember is that I remember my friends being so surprised that you were taking care of our children.
That I was babysitting our kids.
I remember I told you that one time. I'm like, I'm sitting back and I'm listening to my girlfriend and she's talking to me, about how her husband is like, I have to babysit. I'm like, you don't babysit your own kids, but that you can actually hold down.
What's wrong with you, fool? You don't babysit your own kids.
Right? But it's about you being able to hold down the household.
You know, I've always had I don't know where the hell this came from, really. I think it's maybe one of these things that's just like contemplating, but it came around, I guess, earlier in our relationship, or not even earlier in the relationship. It's just kind of how I've been, just like pitching in.
Yeah.
Like being part of a team. Like I don't know why, like, but that's just how I see things.
Well, when you think back to when you were growing up, you were raised that way. When you look at your grandmother, and your grandfather, and you were working in the offices, in the offices to help support the family. Yeah. It's part of that.
Yeah,
it's part of that.
That's just kind of how I've always seen it. And at a certain point, you also, like for me, being individuals in a relationship, having our own autonomy, exactly, like being individuals in this relationship where you can have things that you want to do, goals that you want to achieve, but we have a family together.
Right.
So if you want to do this thing with Legal Shield or Trust Inc. or whatever you have going on at that moment as a team, because that's the family, then how can we do that? Because that's what teams do, right? And then it's always been the same way. Like if I have something going on, then like when I was going to school at night, when I get into jiu-jitsu stuff and tournaments and, I'm away and, I get a new job that makes me have to travel and be away a little bit. Like you support me with all, it's like, yes, go do the things that you want to do. Mm-hmm. And we make it work.
Right.
And also ultimately it's like, we want to be together. So,
ultimately.
Well, like we want to spend time together with us, right. Me and you, the kids.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we can just get things done faster and we can just kind of help each other out.
Yeah. The question is, how can we create this together? Right? Like, how can we create this together and how can we make this happen? And how can I support you in what it is that you, in your dreams, how can I support you in creating that dream? What are some things that I can do personally?
This is one thing that I know is that the more you work together as a couple, the way we do, the bigger your dreams can be.
Yes.
Because you help each other and support each other with these things. Because if you don't, it makes it more, it's more difficult.
Yeah. I've witnessed other relationships where there's a fear of loss.
Because even like just thinking about this stuff, like when you are doing stuff, mm-hmm. there's times when it is like having your back, with the kids.
Yeah.
And like when I'm out of town, I'm sure there's things that come up and you have my back.
Right.
Like dad's, yes, it may seem like dad's on vacation, like we joke around,
right.
Or whatever. And he's going to jiu-jitsu and eating great steaks and staying at nice hotels and driving nice cars.
And
but it's work. It is hard.
History
work.
And
without
having a moment with a friend, watching the sunset or the sunrise, whatever. It's so hilarious.
What am I supposed to do? Be miserable?
I know, right?
But the truth is, like, I'm working, right?
Yeah.
It's funny.